What up, guys? Welcome back to Road to the 2 Comic Club. It's been a little while since I filmed, so this is another recap video we're going to do Wednesday, May 16th through Friday the 18th. So 3 days recap summary, and I'm gonna put a link to a lot of articles. So I want you guys to just have a look at them in case you missed anything. By the time you see this, a lot of this is old news already, but I'm going to touch on a few things with this recap video. But there's a lot of articles that I'm going to skip over just because this would be like a 30-minute video if I talked about everything. And so I'm going to put a link to a lot of articles that I wanted to touch on but didn't get a chance to. And if you want to look at them or at least read the headlines or, glance, skim, speed read, whatever you want to do, just to kind of keep up to date with what was going on at this point in time. I'm really trying to catch up. That's why I'm doing a lot of these recap videos, and I'm trying to keep them short as possible. So I can get caught up and I can get back into a good routine of filming once a day, because doing a backlog of videos like this, I don't like it because I forget what happens a couple days ago, and then it just makes it harder to film. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So on Wednesday, we closed at 167,703.88, and about a $4,000 gain, which was awesome. The Dow was up 62 points. The NASDAQ was up 46.67. And I'll post some screenshots like I do. I'll kind of scroll through so you can kind of get a glance at the stocks that I have in my home widget, at least those stocks, how they did. You can kind of see there. And I don't even remember what our top performers were. Again, I'm shooting this a few days after the fact, so I apologize for that, but I'm recapping, summarizing. And so on Thursday, I forgot to take a screenshot of the balance, but I did take one from Friday. I did the math. So at Thursday, we closed at $165,863.01. So we lost about $1,800. The Dow dropped 54 points. The NASDAQ dropped 15 points. And again, I'll post the screenshots of all the screenshots that I take throughout the day. You guys are probably used to this by now. Friday, we closed at 161,720.56. So we lost some more money on Friday, about $4,100. The Dow finished pretty flat, up 1 point, and then the NASDAQ down 28 points. Now, on Wednesday, I do have a couple links here that I want to talk about, but I want to focus on esports in this episode. I wanted to make a separate video, but I don't know if I'll have time to do that. There's just a lot of stuff going on, but NVIDIA was doing pretty well the last few days. They went up on Wednesday, they went up 45 cents a share. On Thursday, they went up $1.70 a share, but then they kind of started struggling again, I believe. But on Friday, Boeing had a really good day, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so all these articles I'm going to link, so please have a look. And this is what kind of bugs me. I wanted to talk about this. So Wednesday, this article headline said, after the bell, Dow gained 63 points because higher bond yields don't matter at all. So this is the whole thing I was talking about with contradictory articles, contradictory headlines. I don't know if I mentioned it recently, but I've talked about it in the past, and it really annoys me how you can literally find articles saying two exact opposite things. It makes it really hard for a trader, like just a casual trader like me. I don't consider myself a professional, but I am active. But still, even active traders like me who pay attention every day, it makes it hard for us to make decisions when you have one day saying the bond yields are scaring everybody. Second day, I guess bond yields don't matter after all. Like, it's really frustrating and annoying. But unfortunately, it's one of the things we have to deal with. Analysts are kind of quick to summarize, the market did this because of this, or it did this because of this. Even though like both days had different outcomes, they blame it on the same thing or they praise the same thing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that was an article on Wednesday. And also another headline, Wall Street gains as small cap Russell 2000 hits record, and NVIDIA is one of the few stocks in the market I'm interested in being long right now, says trader. That is an article that I do have up right now because I wanted to talk about that one. But this article has some technical analysis on NVIDIA, so please look at that one. It's talking about how he thinks NVIDIA is due for another upswing. So really, really good article about that. And NVIDIA, I just think, is a powerhouse anyways. So I would definitely look at that article. Thursday, we had U.S. stocks retreat on trade worries. So again, we've had articles saying stocks went up because trade fears, ebb or go away. And now it's like, oh, trade fears are back, stock market's down. It's just kind of like, it's really fickle, and it kind of changes day by day. One day people are not worried about trade, the next day they are worried about trade. So I don't understand, either you're worried about it or you're not. I don't get how you can be that, it's just, I don't get it. Like, if I'm worried about trade, I'm worried about trade. I'm not going to be worried about it one day and then not worried about it the other day and then worry about it again the next day. I'm always going to be worried about trade, and I still am worried about the trade because I don't trust that Donald Trump will execute this swimmingly with the president of China. I think they have a lot of butting heads to do still. I mean, I do hope for the best. I hope they do reach common ground, but I'm not giving my hopes up quite yet. I'm trying to be realistic. It could go either way, so I'm just being cautious, but I'm not freaking out, if that makes any sense. I don't even know what I'm thinking anymore. But anyways, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But anyways, another article, after the bell, Dow drops 55 points, small caps soar to a new high. That kind of reiterates what happened the day before that. U.S. stocks close lower, pressured by tech weakness and rising bond yields. Again, contradictory to the articles the day before where it says because higher bond yields don't matter at all. This article is saying pressured by tech weakness and rising bond yields. So they're kind of saying the stock's closing lower because of the bond yields. Annoying. So one article that I need to read, because this is kind of interesting, but it says Intel's resurgence mostly due to this one thing, and I forget what that one thing is. So I'm going to be clicking that link on my own video to read that article. And then finally, this one headline says, NVIDIA stock seen rising 30% on AI sales. So artificial intelligence, again, huge growth driver for NVIDIA, and I'm very confident that they will do very well in that space in the years to come. So yeah, so on Friday, Boeing had a really good day. And this article I said that looked at, I haven't read it, so I'm going to link, and then I'm going to click it by the time I upload this video. So I'll be on the same page as you guys if you haven't heard of this yet. But Boeing's foldable wingtip for new 777s, however you want to say that, it's their plane or their jet or whatever, gets approval. Again, you can tell I don't know a lot about Boeing. I'm more into the tech, the video game stuff, like that kind of stuff interests me more. But I do like Boeing as a company, so I'm going to be reading that article when I upload this video. And then the strong dollar is a stock market drag and poses a threat to earnings growth. Now, I do potentially want to make a video about this because I was listening to an audiobook recently, The Intelligent Investor, which is a very popular, famous book, but it's really long, really complicated. So I might be like listening to it twice, maybe reading it. I'm doing mostly just audiobook, but anyways, they did talk about how the dollar getting weaker, and I've read this in other places, not just that book, but I've read this in other places, how the dollar getting weaker can actually be good for stocks, which kind of is counterintuitive when you first think about it. So I want to make a video kind of explaining why a strong dollar is bad and a weak dollar is good for the stock market and earnings growth. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to make a video on that in the future when I get some time after I get caught up with all this. So let me talk about, let me see how much time I have. All right, this is almost going for 10 minutes. So I'm going to talk about one more thing about this, well, two more things. One, we're going to talk about PUBG because it's recently came out for mobile, and a lot of these esports are embracing that battle royale atmosphere because they saw how much of a hit it was with Fortnite. And again, I want to make a separate video about this, but I don't know if I'll have time. But anyways, just become aware, kind of tune your ears into the whole esports right now, what's going on with esports, because the gaming stocks have been doing quite well the last few days. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. But the thing that caught my eye with PUBG, I was looking at who owns them or whatever, but it was put out by different companies, like on different platforms. But the mobile version of PUBG, it said here in this on Wikipedia, I just did a Google search, but it said it was localized and released by Tencent Games in China, and Tencent Games is a division of Tencent. I believe it's the Tencent that everyone talks about in the stock market. They're a really big company in China, and they have a lot of money in a lot of different companies, so they have big stakes in a lot of companies. A lot of people mentioned that on the channel before in comments. Check out Tencent. I've heard of them many times. I just always forget to invest in them, and so I really need to get on that this time because I do want to get some money in there. So Tencent is just all over the place in a good way. Like, they got their money in a lot of different investments, which is good. And so something to keep an eye out for sure. Now, last article is Wall Street's sell in May could be fading away. Now, you recently just heard me talk about how in the beginning of this month, how I was scared of the whole sell in May, how it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy and all that stuff. And although I did mention that I do believe times are different now, and it could be not the case anymore that, you know, stocks should be sold in May, just because times are always changing and things are different now. And this article kind of agrees with me, so I was excited to read that. So read this article because it does mention how usually the 6 months starting in May are bad, but how lately they've been really good. And it just gives you some history and some context about how from May to November have been doing in the last 5 years compared to like the prior 50 or whatever. So if you have time, definitely worth a read. I know there's a lot of links. It's almost like I'm giving you a lot of homework, but if you're interested in investing and you want to make money and you want to be well in tune with what's going on, it is worth putting some time into all this reading. And even though I read this article at the time of filming, I am going to read it again when I upload this video because I want to refresh my memory. So we're going to leave it at that. I hope you like this video. You know, if you want me to keep doing recap videos like this, kind of trying to keep them to 10 to 12 minutes covering 3 days, or if you want me to focus on each individual day, let me know. I do want to get caught up to where I am filming every day, but if we don't feel like it's needed, maybe I will just film every other day. I don't know, I'm still thinking about it, but I want to hear your comments because I really do value your input. So thank you guys so much for watching. Comment below, like and subscribe. It means a lot to me that you do that. And hope you guys had a fantastic night, and we will see you tomorrow.